All right, welcome back, everyone. Today we're going to be talking about Invincible. First season streaming on Amazon Prime Video. So let's get started. Well, first off, I should say if you haven't watched the show, go watch the show. It's definitely worth a watch. 8 episodes, about 45 minutes each. If you dig superhero shows, I would say this is a good one to go watch. It definitely plays on some of the tropes of traditional hero shows. If you like shows like The Boys, then you'll definitely like this. It is a little gruesome, so at points, but it serves a purpose. So I'm just gonna say that right now because if you have watched the show, I am gonna go into some spoilers starting now. So, spoiler time. Let's talk about the show overall. A lot of positives about it. I think that I haven't read the source material for these comics. I haven't read a lot of comics in general, so a lot of the stories that involve like comic book heroes I have not read. Sometimes I don't even know they are comic book stories until much later into the piece. Mark's story, like coming of age story, I think is super interesting, and the way that they use his becoming a superhero tied in with just like his dad's story and what's going on there is really, really great. I think one of my favorite parts of the show is when Mark is literally getting beat down by his dad, and there's that moment at the end where like he's gonna kill Mark if he doesn't submit, and he's not going to, just because that's kind of how he's been the whole time. And that line with "I'd still have you, Dad," you can just see in the animation with Omni Man's reaction how much that hit. And I think it's interesting because in these stories like this, especially these superhero stories, right? Like the hero loses, the hero loses, the hero loses as they start to get more and more powerful. Like they always get beat up basically, but they always manage to scrape by just a little bit. And then at the end of the story, they finally have gotten a handle on their powers and they beat the big bad. And it might not necessarily be easy, but it definitely isn't impossible for them. But with the fight between Omni-Man and Invincible, it's hopeless. Like Mark cannot beat his dad in any way. Which makes sense because Mark's dad's had at least hundreds of years to train and become this like high capacity warrior, super warrior basically. And the fact that he doesn't do this intentionally. I wouldn't say he does it intentionally, but the fact that Mark's love for his dad, even though he's getting just completely pummeled by him, is the thing that breaks Omni-Man, this invincible Superman-esque level hero who just can't be hurt by anything, is great. It's a great twist on the traditional like superhero. I'm gonna beat you down to win, and I'm gonna have to take you out. And like there was already a lot of emotion, like an emotional impact because like Mark having to fight his father, but we all knew that was coming from the first episode. At the end of the first episode, so this show has a lot of good things going for it. I think that the twist at the end of the first episode is really great with Omni-Man fighting the what are they called, the Justice League of this universe basically, and just wiping. He doesn't wipe the floor with them, but he takes them all out by himself. And the mystery of like the rest of the characters trying to figure that out, but us also trying to like have this question in the back of our minds of why did he do it the whole time, but we know he did it. Like that's not a question. We know it happened because we saw it. but this like why did he do it the whole time that sits with us. And I think that it does a good job of driving the plot forward without overshadowing everything else that's going on. Gosh, there's so many good things about the show that I don't really have time to talk about them all. So let's talk about some critiques overall. One thing I will say critically is that I feel like the internet helps a lot with this, which is everyone gets like really hyped up when a new good show pops up, and people almost like overhype the shows. Like they go like, oh yeah, this show is the best show in the universe and it's going to be great. It's always great and every part of it's amazing. This show is, and I don't want people to take the wrong impression here. This show is really, really good. It's extremely well written. It's well adapted. It does a good job about everything. I think there's a few parts here and there that are drag a little bit. Not with any of like even the side character storylines are super interesting, but I guess there's just a few like I would say there's maybe a few fight scenes that I maybe would cut down a little bit, or a few like moments that are like comedic relief that I don't know that needed to be there. I'd have to like actually go in and like really dig into the show to get super specific, but I think like this is definitely a good show, like really good. I'm interested to see where it's gonna go, but that's gonna definitely determine how I think about this show going forward. By all means, it's for sure worth watching if you're into this kind of stuff. But like, there are other great shows that have great writing like this. This isn't the be all end all, but it is definitely up there. I just want to say my piece about that because I feel like it's just like everyone's going crazy about it, and it's good. It's really good. But is it the best story I've ever seen? No. But part of that is because we don't have the full context. And that's really like, I hate to bring it up, but look at Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones was really great for about the first 6 seasons, and then that context at the end makes it real different. You've got a real different opinion of that. So I want to see where this goes, and I will be watching season 2 like as soon as it comes out and reviewing it too. So I'm really excited to see that. I think that's gonna be it for this one. Pretty short for this one, but let me know what you guys think in the comments. I'm really interested to see what other people have to say about this, and if other people have. I mean, obviously, I want to hear about all your favorite parts because there's a lot of cool stuff that happens, but. I want to hear if people also have criticism of the show that I'm not thinking about. I've only watched it once through, so if I wanted, this is one of those shows that's definitely would need me to dive into like once or twice more and being very nitpicky to find like some criticisms. Yeah, and if you did like the video, make sure to leave a like down below and subscribe. Super helpful for the channel. I really appreciate it. I think that's going to be it for this one. So I appreciate everyone watching, and I will see everyone next time.